Most people think success is something you achieve when the world finally gives you permission. But the truth is completely different. Success begins inside your mind long before it appears in your life. Your thoughts shape your choices shape your habits, and your habits quietly build your future. You don't need a rich family, a perfect environment, or a lucky break. You need a new way of thinking, a mindset that turns pressure into power, problems into lessons, and failures into fuel. And this journey begins with a moment most people don't talk about, the moment something inside you refuses to stay quiet. It doesn't shout or scream. It simply whispers a powerful truth. You are living far below your potential. Maybe you felt it too. That strange pressure in your chest when you imagine a better future, that tiny spark when you hear someone else's success story, that uncomfortable thought that asks, if they can change their life, why can't I? You try to ignore it, but it returns again and again, in the morning, late at night, and in those honest moments when you face yourself. This feeling isn't stress or frustration. It's the beginning of transformation. Because the real enemy is not your circumstances, your past, or your lack of opportunities. The real enemy is the old mindset that whispers, stay where you are. Don't dream too big. People like you don't succeed. But now, another voice is awakening. Stronger, clearer, and more fearless. A voice that reminds you that you were born to rise, to grow, and to break every limit placed on you. Your journey doesn't begin when your life changes. It begins the moment your mind does. Step 1. The moment everything changes. There comes a day in every person's life when something shifts quietly inside them, a moment so subtle that no one else can see it, yet so powerful that it changes the direction of everything that comes next. You might be sitting alone, walking down a familiar street, or simply staring at the ceiling late at night when the thought appears, soft but undeniable, I can do more than this. I can be more than this. It does not come from frustration or self-hate, nor from the belief that your life is terrible or broken. Instead, it rises from a deeper place, a place of awareness, a place where your true potential begins to whisper for the first time. You don't announce this feeling online. You don't tell your friends. You might not even admit it out loud. But inside your mind, a small spark of hunger wakes up. And once it wakes, you cannot unfeel it. It starts as curiosity, a quiet desire to grow, to understand yourself better, to imagine a different future. Then it becomes a pull, a soft voice pushing you forward, urging you to explore who you could become if you stopped holding yourself back. This is the real beginning of success. Not action, not motivation, not money, but awareness. Awareness that your current life is not your final life. Awareness that the limits you see are not fixed. Awareness that the version of you living inside your mind, stronger, braver, more focused, is waiting to be brought into the world. At first, the awareness feels like a tiny crack in your old mindset, a small opening in the wall you've built around yourself. Through that crack, new thoughts slowly begin to enter. You start questioning the routines you follow without thinking, the habits that drain your energy, the fears that keep you still, the excuses you repeat every time you feel uncomfortable. You begin to notice how many of your daily actions come from old programming, beliefs you inherited, fears you learned, limits you accepted without ever choosing them. You realize how often you shrink yourself to stay safe, how often you say, maybe later, to avoid stepping into the unknown. You see how your comfort zone has become a cage disguised as peace. This awareness is uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, but it is also the doorway to growth. Because once you recognize that your life is shaped by your mindset, you also recognize that your mindset can change. And when your mindset changes, everything else follows. In the days after this moment, nothing may look different from the outside. You still wake up to the same environment, face the same responsibilities, and deal with the same challenges. But inside, your inner world is shifting. You find yourself thinking more deeply. You pay closer attention to your emotions. You start noticing possibilities you once ignored. You feel a strange combination of fear and excitement, fear of leaving the old version of yourself behind, and excitement for the person you are slowly becoming. You begin to understand that growth is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet, subtle, and deeply personal. It starts with a single decision, the decision to stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. You are no longer asleep inside your own life. You are waking up, and with every small moment of awareness, the crack widens. The old version of you, the one shaped by fear, doubt, and limitation, begins to fade. And from within you, a new version begins to rise, a version built on clarity, courage, and purpose. This is the true moment everything changes. Not when the world believes in you, not when opportunities appear, but when you finally believe you were meant for something greater, and you become brave enough to listen. Step 2. The mindset you were given. Most people don't realize this, but you were not born thinking small. You were not born doubting yourself, fearing the future, or believing success belongs to other people. These thoughts were taught to you slowly, quietly, and repeatedly until they felt normal. From childhood to adulthood, the world around you shaped your mindset long before you learned how to shape it yourself. School taught you to follow instructions instead of creating your own path. Society taught you to fear mistakes rather than learn from them. People who loved you, parents, relatives, teachers, often gave advice meant to protect you, not empower you. They said things like, be realistic, don't aim too high, life is hard, success is rare, and people like us don't get opportunities. They didn't mean to limit you. They simply passed down the same beliefs they were taught. And slowly, these sentences became invisible rules written inside your mind. You didn't choose them, but you accepted them. You followed them without noticing. You learned to stay safe instead of taking risks. You learned to shrink your dreams so they wouldn't disappoint you. You learned to stop believing in your own possibilities before you even tested them. And over time, without realizing it, you began to believe that success is something that happens to other people. People with more talent, more money, more connections, or more luck. You didn't see that the only real difference between you and them is mindset. These invisible rules become like chains you can't see but always feel. They hold you back during important moments. They whisper doubt when you want to try something new. They tell you, this is not for you, every time you think bigger. They keep you obedient to a life that feels safe, but unfulfilling. But here is the truth. These rules were never real. They were just repeated so many times that they became part of your identity. Changing your mindset means breaking these invisible rules one by one. It means questioning the beliefs you inherited instead of accepting them as facts. It means asking yourself, who taught me this? And why should I continue believing it? It means understanding that the voice in your head saying, you can't, is not yours. It is a collection of voices from your past that no longer deserve authority over your future. When you begin to recognize these patterns, your thinking expands. You start seeing that the limits you've lived with were never your own. You begin to imagine new possibilities, new directions, new identities. You realize you're allowed to aim higher, to dream bigger, to choose differently. And the moment you challenge one old belief, the rest begin to weaken. This is how transformation starts, not with achievements, but with awareness, not with action, but with permission. Permission to think for yourself. Permission to believe in yourself. Permission to outgrow the mindset you were given and build the mindset you truly need. This step is not easy, but it is powerful. And once you begin, there is no going back. Step 3. The shift from victim to creator. Most people live their entire lives without realizing there are only two ways to experience the world: reacting to life or creating life. A reactive person waits for circumstances to change before they take action. They wait for motivation, luck, opportunity, permission, or the right moment. They let problems, emotions, and external events decide how they feel and what they do. When something goes wrong, they blame the situation, the past, the environment, or the people around them. Without noticing, they hand over their power to the world. They live as if life is happening to them, not through them. But creators think differently. A creator understands that life is built from the inside out. Instead of waiting for life to get better, they focus on getting better themselves. Instead of saying, I can't do anything until life improves, they say, if I improve, my life will improve with me. They don't sit still hoping for opportunities. They create their own opportunities, even if the path is unclear. They don't depend on perfect conditions. They start with what they have. They don't let fear freeze them. They move anyway. This shift, from blaming to building, from waiting to acting, from reacting to creating, is the turning point that separates ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. The moment you decide to stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the creator of your future, everything changes. You begin to notice how much control you actually have. You control your response, your choices, your habits, your effort, your attitude, and your growth. Even if you cannot control the world, you can control how you rise within it. This mindset is the foundation of every successful person in history. Winners, leaders, innovators, and high achievers share one thing in common. They refuse to wait. They refuse to let external events dictate their progress. They refuse to stay stuck just because their situation is imperfect. They know that if they don't move, nothing moves. They step forward even when they are scared, tired, or uncertain. They build momentum, one step at a time. They create new skills, new knowledge, new habits, new connections, and new opportunities. They understand that the future doesn't magically arrive. It is built. And every day is a chance to build again. This shift is not loud. It doesn't require a big speech or a dramatic announcement. It happens quietly, the moment you say to yourself, enough, I'm done waiting. From that moment, you begin to redesign your life with intention. You stop hoping things will change and start changing yourself. And as you grow, your world grows with you. This is how the victim becomes the creator, not through luck, but through choice. And once you make that choice, your life will never be the same again. Step 4. Beliefs. The root of everything. Your beliefs are the silent architects of your future. They are the invisible force that shapes every thought, every choice, and every action you take, often without you even realizing it. When you believe, "I'm not capable," your brain immediately begins to search for evidence. That proves it true. Every obstacle feels bigger, every challenge feels impossible, and every opportunity seems out of reach. Your mind unconsciously filters the world to fit your belief, confirming your limitations over and over again. But when you adopt a different belief, one that says, "I can learn anything," or "I am capable of more than I think," everything changes. Suddenly, your brain begins looking for solutions, noticing opportunities, and opening doors you didn't even know existed. The same problems that once felt insurmountable now become challenges you can navigate. The difference is not magic. It is not luck. Successful people are not born with more talent, smarter brains, or easier lives. They are born with the same fears, doubts, insecurities, and limitations as everyone else. The only real difference is in the beliefs they choose to nurture. They consciously adopt empowering beliefs, beliefs that tell them they can learn, grow, and overcome. They refuse to accept the limiting voices inside their head as facts. They practice reminding themselves of what is possible rather than what is impossible. And over time, these beliefs shape their habits, their choices, and ultimately, their lives. Beliefs are the root of everything because they act as a blueprint. They determine whether you stop before trying or push forward. They decide whether you see obstacles as barriers or stepping stones. They define how much effort you put in when no one is watching. If you want to change your life, you must first change the beliefs that quietly run it. You must challenge the assumptions you've carried for years. Question what you think is true, and choose thoughts that empower rather than limit. When you do this consistently, when you feed your mind with beliefs that encourage growth, courage, and possibility, you create a new foundation for your entire future. Everything you dream of, every goal you hope to achieve, begins here, in the beliefs that silently shape your reality, your actions, and your destiny. Step 5. Failure, the tool of success. Most people spend their lives avoiding failure, not because they dislike the feeling of falling short, but because failure threatens their ego. It makes them feel small, embarrassed, and incapable. They try to hide from it, deny it, or avoid it entirely, believing that if they never fail, they will be safe, accepted, and successful. But the truth is that failure is not the enemy. It is the most powerful teacher you will ever have. Every person who has achieved greatness has failed countless times, and they did not view failure as a punishment or a sign of weakness. Instead, they saw it as information, feedback from life that tells them what works, what doesn't, and what must change. Failure is a message written in experience, designed to redirect you, sharpen you, and prepare you for the next step. It exposes the gaps in your knowledge, the weaknesses in your habits, and the limits of your current mindset. When you understand this, failure no longer feels like something to fear. It becomes a tool, a necessary step on the path to growth and achievement. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a stepping stone toward it. Each time you fail, you gain clarity about the path ahead. Each time you stumble, You learn how to navigate obstacles with more skill and awareness. Each time you fall, you build resilience, patience, and determination. Qualities no success can exist without. The only true failure is quitting. Choosing to stop, giving up because the journey is hard, or letting fear define your choices is the only thing that guarantees you will never reach your goals. Successful people do not avoid failure. They embrace it, study it, and use it to fuel their progress. They fail fast, learn quickly, and adapt continuously. They understand that every failure contains a lesson that will guide them closer to their dreams. Failure is not a sign that you are weak or incapable. It is proof that you are trying, that you are growing, and that you are willing to step into the unknown. When you change your perspective about failure, your entire approach to life shifts. You begin to take calculated risks, try new strategies, and push beyond comfort zones. You stop fearing mistakes and start valuing experience. You learn to see failure not as an end point, but as a necessary part of the journey toward mastery, achievement, and fulfillment. The more you fail, the more you understand what it truly takes to succeed. You develop wisdom, courage, and persistence that cannot be learned any other way. And eventually, the victories you achieve are not just the result of talent or luck. They are the direct outcome of the failures you survived, the lessons you absorbed, and the resilience you built along the way. So, embrace failure as a friend, not an enemy. Welcome it into your life. Study it, learn from it, and allow it to guide you. Every step you take through failure brings you closer to the success you desire, and the only real failure is the moment you stop moving forward. Step 6. Habits. The real game changer. Your mindset does not grow overnight. It grows through the small, repeated actions you take every single day. These actions, known as habits, are the invisible engine that drives your growth, your confidence, and your success. Every time you wake up early, even when you don't feel like it, you send a signal to yourself that you are capable of discipline, focus, and self-control. Each early morning is a quiet victory over laziness and excuses. And with every victory, your belief in yourself grows stronger. Every time you choose to read, learn, or practice a skill, your mind expands, your knowledge deepens, and your future possibilities multiply. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, whether it is exercising, meditating, studying, or completing a small task, your identity upgrades. You begin to see yourself as a person who keeps commitments, who overcomes resistance, and who takes life seriously. Habits, no matter how small they seem, accumulate over time and create momentum. That momentum generates consistency, and consistency eventually produces results. It is through these daily actions that ordinary people transform into extraordinary individuals. Your mindset strengthens because you continuously prove to yourself that you can rely on your own discipline, that you can meet challenges, and that you are capable of creating the life you want. Habits remove the reliance on fleeting motivation or random inspiration. They make your growth automatic and inevitable. Over time, habits sculpt your character, your confidence, and your abilities. They transform small efforts into lifelong strengths. They teach patience, persistence, and resilience. They help you endure difficult moments because you have already trained yourself to act even when you don't feel like it. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily more talented. They are simply better at building habits that support their goals. They understand that mastery is the result of repeated, disciplined action, not occasional bursts of energy or temporary enthusiasm. Habits allow you to turn your intentions into reality, your goals into achievements, and your dreams into tangible results. They are the silent architects of your mindset, quietly building strength, focus, and confidence every day. And the beauty of habits is that once they are established, they become self-reinforcing. Every time you honor a habit, you reinforce your belief in yourself, which makes it easier to continue, which makes it easier to build even more habits. In this way, your mindset grows naturally, steadily, and powerfully. When you take your small daily actions seriously, you create a life that aligns with your highest potential. This is why habits are the real game changer. They transform your mindset, your identity, and ultimately, your destiny. Step 7. Environment, where mindsets are built. Your environment is one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked factors that shape your mindset and, ultimately, your life. The people you spend time with, the places you inhabit, and even the media you consume silently influence how you think, what you believe is possible, and how you respond to challenges. Most people underestimate this influence because it is subtle. It happens gradually, almost imperceptibly, until one day you realize your thoughts, habits, and actions closely mirror those around you. If you surround yourself with negative, critical, or unambitious people, you will unconsciously adopt their mindset. Their doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs become your own, and you will find yourself thinking smaller, aiming lower, and questioning your own abilities. You will notice that your energy feels drained, your motivation dips, and even when opportunities arise, you hesitate, wondering if you are capable. On the other hand, when you spend time with dreamers, innovators, and doers, people who inspire, challenge, and support you, your thinking begins to expand. Their optimism, discipline, and vision become contagious. You start to believe that bigger goals are possible. You begin to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats. You notice your own potential in ways you never did before. The right environment doesn't just influence your thoughts, it shapes your habits, routines, and even your identity. It provides the energy, feedback, and inspiration needed to grow. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the communities you join, all of these form the soil in which your mindset either withers or flourishes. Choosing your environment wisely is not about avoiding people who struggle or never experiencing negative emotions. It is about deliberately aligning yourself with people, places, and experiences that push you toward growth. You cannot control every circumstance in life, but you can control what you allow to enter your mind. You can decide who you spend time with, what ideas you absorb, and which voices you let guide your thoughts. Your environment can either trap you in a cycle of limitation, fear, and mediocrity, or it can transform you into someone who thinks bigger, acts bolder, and achieves more. The people, the spaces, and the influences around you are not just background details. They are active participants in building your mindset. By consciously curating your environment, you create conditions where your potential can grow, your beliefs can expand, and your actions can consistently move you closer to your goals. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who elevate you, challenge you, and believe in your possibilities. Immerse yourself in knowledge, inspiration, and experiences that stretch your thinking. Step away from influences that drag you down, limit your vision, or feed doubt. This deliberate attention to your environment is not optional for those who seek growth. It is essential. The world you inhabit will either support your rise or reinforce your limits, and the choice is yours. Step 8. The power of yet. There is a single word that holds immense power in the journey of mindset transformation, a word so simple yet so transformative that it can turn limitations into opportunities, doubt into determination, and fear into hope. That word is yet. Think about how often you catch yourself saying, "I'm not good at this," or "I can't do that," or "I haven't achieved what I want." These statements sound like admissions of failure, declarations of finality, or evidence that you are incapable. But when you add a single word to the end, yet, everything changes. I'm not good at English, yet. I haven't started my business yet, that I don't have results, yet. Suddenly, the statement is no longer a wall, it becomes a doorway. The word yet introduces time, space, and possibility. It gives your brain permission to learn, grow, and develop, instead of resigning to limitations. It transforms your perspective from one of doubt to one of curiosity. Instead of asking, "Can I do it?" you start asking, "How can I learn it?" Instead of feeling trapped by your current skill level, your lack of experience, or your past mistakes, you begin to see your situation as a temporary stage on the journey to mastery. The word yet reminds you that growth is a process, not an instant achievement. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful entrepreneur once had 0 customers. Every athlete once could barely practice the basics. Their current success was built on a foundation of many yets, moments when they didn't give up, when they kept learning, and when they trusted that they were capable of more than their present circumstances suggested. Using yet changes your relationship with failure. Failure is no longer a verdict. It is feedback, a sign that progress is underway, but incomplete. Challenges become experiments, mistakes become lessons, and setbacks become temporary pauses rather than endpoints. It also fosters patience and resilience because you no longer demand perfection immediately. You give yourself the grace to grow, to improve, and to keep moving forward. The power of yet extends beyond personal growth into relationships, careers, education, and creativity. It allows you to attempt things that feel intimidating because you understand that mastery is a journey, not a precondition. Each time you say yet, you are subtly rewiring your mindset from fixed to growth-oriented. You are telling yourself that your abilities are not limited, your circumstances are not permanent, and your future is not pre-written. You are embracing a mindset that thrives on learning, experimentation, and continuous improvement. And over time, the accumulation of these small yets transforms your life in profound ways. By adopting the power of yet, you create hope where there was doubt, action where there was hesitation, and courage where there was fear. You understand that your journey is ongoing and that every step forward, no matter how small, is part of building the person you are meant to become. In essence, yet changes the story you tell yourself about what is possible, what you're capable of, and how your life can unfold. It is not just a word, it is a mindset, a tool, and a promise that your potential is not defined by today, but by the steps you take tomorrow. Step 9. The future you are building. Success is rarely sudden. It is not a moment that appears out of nowhere, a lottery win, or an accidental stroke of luck. True success is grown, nurtured, and carefully constructed over time. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you are building the foundation of your future self. Every choice you make, every habit you form, and every belief you embrace contributes to the person you are becoming. Each morning you wake up early, push yourself to learn, or choose discipline over comfort. Your mind grows stronger. Each time you challenge a limiting belief or step out of your comfort zone, your thoughts become clearer and more focused. Each time you fail, adjust, and try again, you are quietly training resilience, patience, and wisdom. Your old beliefs, the ones that told you you can't or you're not ready, gradually fade away as they are replaced with new, empowering beliefs. Each small action may seem insignificant in the moment. Reading a few pages of a book, writing down your goals, practicing a skill, or holding yourself accountable. Yet these tiny steps compound over time. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, they transform your mindset, your habits, and your identity. You are not waiting for success to arrive. You are becoming the person who deserves it. You are preparing yourself to handle opportunities, challenges, and achievements with confidence, clarity, and purpose. And when success does arrive, because it will, it may look sudden to the outside world. People will call it luck or timing, and fail to see the invisible work that took place over months or years. But deep inside, you will know the truth, that you built it yourself. Brick by brick, thought by thought, habit by habit, you constructed the life you wanted. Every small decision, every moment of focus, every ounce of effort was a building block, and together, they created a structure strong enough to support your dreams. This is the essence of mindset transformation. It is not about chasing results, hoping for a lucky break, or waiting for external validation. It is about consistently shaping the person you are becoming so that the results you desire naturally follow. The future is not something that happens to you. It is something you actively create. By investing in your thoughts, your habits, your environment, and your learning every single day, you are designing a life aligned with your potential. You are taking control of the direction of your life, turning intention into action and action into identity. This is how success begins, not in a single moment of glory, but in the quiet, deliberate work of becoming. Your future self is the result of the choices you make today. Every day counts. Every thought matters. Every action builds toward the life you are capable of creating. And when you finally look back, you will see that nothing was accidental. Every victory, every breakthrough, and every milestone was the result of deliberate effort, unwavering focus, and the mindset you nurtured along the way. This is how the future you desire is built, steadily, intentionally, and with purpose. Final words. Your mindset is the soil where every dream, every goal, and every success grows. The person you are becoming today determines the life you will live tomorrow. Every thought you choose, every belief you nurture, every habit you practice, and every environment you immerse yourself in shapes the future version of yourself. Remember, success is not about luck, talent, or timing. It is about intentional growth, consistent effort, and the courage to keep moving forward, even when the path is uncertain. You are capable of more than you know, and the transformation begins in your mind before it appears in your life. Embrace failure as feedback, adopt empowering beliefs, take control as a creator, and build habits that reinforce the strongest version of yourself. Your future is being built today, brick by brick, thought by thought, habit by habit. If you enjoyed this journey and want more guidance to transform your mindset, build unstoppable habits, and achieve your goals, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss videos that help you grow, stay motivated, and take actionable steps toward success. Join our community of dreamers, doers, and achievers.